So I adjusted the chain after I gave it a good cleaning, and I realized that when I took the bike out for a quick, I guess, test, there was a lot of like slinging steel on the chain, and you can probably tell me, oh yeah, Richard, you just need to kind of pull it back, but this is almost to the farthest back that the adjusters can go. So I started kind of looking into the chain, and even though there's not a whole lot of links or kinks, I'm sorry, there's still a lot of like, I guess, kind of binding and the way the links are moving. And the key factor that drove me to change the chain is the fact that when the chain is adjusted, and I know it has a lot of slack, and that's kind of how I like to run my chains. But even if I have one more slack than what the manufacturer calls for, you shouldn't be able to do this. Like, you shouldn't be able to come back here and get all these like slop on the chain. So that's why we're gonna be changing this, and I'm gonna walk you through the process of how to remove the chain. Before I remove or cut the chain, I'm gonna come here and I'm going to bring a screwdriver here, and I'm going to move this back just so I can get some, I guess, resistance on the chain. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to remove the counter sprocket even before I remove the chain. I put it in first just so I can have some resistance. Okay. I don't want to make too much pressure against the transmission, hence why I also want to keep my screwdriver in the rear so that it helps me to have some resistance and leverage while I'm undoing these bolts. So now I'm expecting this is gonna come easier. It's gonna stop there, and these don't take a lot of force or torque because you're gonna break them. So I'm actual bolt. So now that I have it like that, all I wanted was that, so I can just bring it back into neutral. Okay, it's in neutral. So now we can go back to removing the chain. I have a lot of like videos just like working on chains, and which is essentially the same for every bike primarily. This is a 520 chain, in case you were wondering, and this particular bike, it doesn't have a rivet style master. It has a clip style. I was very surprised to see this, but they're quite effective. But and I might go back to use them. Anyhow, long story short, that's not the point. I have my sacrificial um, screwdriver that I use for this type of activities, because if this is the one you have, you don't want to break it. So I'm gonna take a quick mallet and then kind of position my screwdriver here, and then I can just tap it a couple times, and I should be able to see it move. Oop. And here we go. So in case I don't come back to this to use it, all I wanted to say is, if you install one of these clip style master cylinders or master links on your bike, do me a favor. Put a little bit of like RTV, and then just put the clip. And that's just gonna do is, when hopefully you have your chain is clean, so you have clean surfaces, so the RTV kind of sticks to it. So what that's gonna do is just gonna keep the actual clip always stuck in here, and there's not going to be any vibration that's going to be causing, like, I don't know if you noticed, but this one was actually a little bit like loose, so it was kind of doing this number here. So if vibration were to like pull it, then this is going to go away and your chain is going to go flying. So that's why you want to kind of put some dab of like RTV, and maybe that's going to keep it in place. And I'm going to push this out. You can tell how easy that came out. And now I'm going to push on the pin, and I have the pin out, and now I can completely remove the chain. And here's the chain. So now we're gonna finish removing the bolts. Okay, one, and now this is the important thing. There's a groove here, so this is not gonna come out, which is how the bolts in combination with the sprocket are kind of keeping everything in place. So what I'm going to do is you are going to rotate this until you find the place where this is gonna come out. So it match the splines on the shaft, and this came out easy. And now we can pull the counter sprocket out. This is a prime opportunity for us to clean this and ensure that we have clean surfaces for whenever we get the new sprockets. All right, I think this is acceptable. So what sprockets I'm going to be using on this bike is not the point, because you're going to do something whatever you want or whatever you like, brand, whatever. So brand and size agnostic. I retained the 520 pitch for the Monster, and then I did a super light combo, so somewhat of a pretty I guess Sprocket, pretty big. I think this bike comes with 15, 38, or 39. I think, believe, depending on the year. So I ended up wanting to go for 14, 43. And then I went for an RK chain, which I believe they cut it to 102 chain links, which I thought it was very little, but I guess we'll see. And if it doesn't work, we'll change it or whatever. So let's just get to install it. So normally, to avoid putting a lot of stress on the clutch drive, I like to, when I have my chain, that's when I remove the sprocket nut sometimes when I remember, but I forgot. So I'm actually locking my wheel here and then just taking this 15 and kind of applying pressure here just so I can remove the sprockets. I already undo a few of them, but that's essentially how I do it. Going to remove the wheel now. Okay, 20. Wow. Not gonna be surprised if this thing is like completely dry, because of my fabulous previous owner never put any waterless grease or anything. Ooh. So I might need some more help. Look at all these white. I'll show you in a second. This is the sign of a axle that's never been lubed. My goodness. So now let's remove this from the caliper. Ooh, nice. All right, cool. Let's do this. Remove all this. Okay. All right, check this. Let's put some grease here. I think we'll get a feel for. Okay, what you're hearing is the spacer on the inside that's keeping, bearings from moving and whatnot. Bearing feels pretty good. I'm just gonna put some lubing here. I'm actually gonna clean this up now because this is nasty. All right, super clean. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit so it doesn't have that corrosion kind of sitting on it or like deposits and whatnot, so I can put some fresh grease. Okay, so now a bit of grease on each, not much, but just so they're not dry. Nice. So I have this sprocket here with this side out. A 14 that I have coming, but I'm going to go with this 15 for now, which should be fits pretty well in here. Show you in 1 second. So essentially this is you're gonna match the splines in here on the shaft, and this is gonna come here and then just actually I messed up. We match this. There. And I'm going to bring this forward, and that's how it kind of gets into that channel. Now let's get this threaded in here. We put in first so I get some resistance, and then release just now putting these bolts, ensuring that they're tight before I torque these guys. Okay. All right, so let's clean this up before we install it. Let me get some degreaser in here, and then I'd like to, like nothing coming off. It's just insane. This doesn't have to be pretty, but what I don't want is just have places like this where things have been rubbing for a while and they just kind of creates that that coat of dirt and other stuff inside. So I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit and we'll lube it. We should be good to go. Let's do what none of the previous owners have done in I don't know how many years. All right, so if you have been on my channel before, you know that first thing I do is just to put some wood in the bottom. I'm going to bring the wheel with the tires that are 10 years old. And of course, since we don't have a chain, we're not going to be worrying about the chain right now. I'm just gonna slide this in and I'm going to like get this through, get it on the tab on the swing arm, and I'm going to get this aligned as much as possible with the wheel. Oops. Make it straight so I can align the spacer, not the spacer, but the right here, and I have it in a good place. I have the I can show it. I have the pads like in a very good place where I can pull it up and they're just gonna be on each side of the rotor. And now align it. Right. Okay. All right. It went through both sides. Seen on both sides where it's only showing threads, and we're gonna do this right here. And we repeat the process on the other side. So now we're gonna make them tight, and I'm going to be tightening these two in a fashion where they're both going to be kind of going at the same place. So this one I did by hand. So now I'm looking to make the other one tight, and then we'll torque them both. I'm not holding the other side because the other side is already making contact with the plate. So okay, actually I'm going to leave it somewhat loose because I have to adjust they move these adjusters all the way to the front so that I can compensate for the new chain that's not a stretch and a little bit short. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a 12 and I'm going to start making this super loose so that I can move it all the way to the front, and then we'll go and start adjusting. I'm gonna do the same on the other side so I can do it kind of at the same time. All right, so now we're gonna bring the biggest 520 chain that I ever seen. I'm gonna clean that later. So I'm going to start feeding this through here. If you have a good eye, you are probably seeing the fact that I have no guide on this chain, on this bike, on the swing arm. So I order a new one, actually OEM from not Ducati, but from a Ducati authorized like parts dealership or whatever. So I ordered one. So I already ensure that I have made the provision so that I can ensure that I have everything in place whenever let me put this on neutral. That's all I need. I just need this to allow me to rotate this. There you go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, actually, this is perfect. So these people knew exactly what they were doing. Look at that. Actually, it's longer than what I need. That's crazy. Okay, cool. All right, so if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I always rivet. I use rivet style master links, but today I'm actually going to be using the clip style because I'm going to be removing everything again to remove the tires, and that doesn't matter. Like I can still do that with a rivet style. I can just put it to the side, blah blah blah. But I might be changing sprockets soon. So whenever I change the sprockets, when I know that I'm final, decision on how I want to keep it, then I'll make the decision and then I'll rivet. So for now, I'm just going to be using this. So now I'm going to leave the grease and everything that I'm going to be using later. I just want to, at the very least, just put this in here. All the not the seals, but the rubber cushions. And I'm only going to be using this part of it so I can put it through here until I'm able to get the chain where I want it, to see if I need to cut it or if that's fine the way it is right now. This is so messy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and loosen both sides so that I can bring it back and see how much. Okay, so I guess I don't like this. I think I'm gonna have to cut this chain because it's like way too loose. So right here is way too loose. And if I do this, let me see where it is on the other side. It's not bad. I still need to get my thing. Okay, so let me start making these for real. Just make the adjustments right now so I can start bringing it back, but I feel like I might need to. I'm gonna do the same on the other side. All right, so what I did was I pushed it forward all the way on both sides, making sure that they were both kind of aligned, kind of parallel to one to each other. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the chain through here. I'm gonna do this like so, and then I'll bring the chain here, and I'm going to cut it knowing that I need to leave some slack because I am adjusting from the very maximum, ability to kind of add some slack to the chain. So I need to compensate for the fact that this is gonna go like the tire is gonna be touching the ground. So there's going to be some tension that's going to be bringing the chain up, and then also. So I don't want to go super tight, like removing two potentially like two links, like I mentioned before, because I have plenty. Actually, you know what? I might, because this is ridiculous, the amount of slack that I have here. So I can probably just remove these two. So just open it up in here, actually in here, and then I'll just adjust all the way back. And if I need to remove another one, I'll do it. That's fine. So not a big deal. Don't forget to put grease in here. If you have more than enough, that's fine. Doesn't matter. That's still gonna stay there. Just put one here. Actually, yeah. Just put one here, and all of that excess, just make sure that's embedded and kind of there. So now we're just gonna pull the master link from this side to the other side. Okay. Repeat the process again and pour more grease here. Like I said, we're going for the clip style today. I'm going to take the bike for a spin, see how it feels, and then put the rubber. Oops, it fell. Make sure that's like super lubricated, and I'll put a little bit more now. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit more on top. Can never have enough of this stuff, which is also going to help you to keep them in place while you are putting the plate. So now I'm going to put the plate and try to put it straight. Okay, straight now. This is a good opportunity to show you how to press a plate if you do not have a chain tool. So you can take this, then just make it so that it's the width of the chain and then a bit more. And then you can take a number 10 like I'm doing right here, so that you can press the plate and allowing the pin to go through the wrench. So I may back it out a little bit. Actually, I may do this like so. It's easier if I come from this side. Doesn't take much. You just have to, for the clip style, you just have to ensure that you're showing the ridge where the actually the ridge where the clip is gonna go. You don't have to go besides that. So I keep doing this. This is tedious. That's why you want the right tool, but mine broke as we discussed before, hence why I'm doing this. But you know, good opportunity for you to also learn how to do it. So as you can tell, it's already showing a little bit because I was able to press it a little bit. So I'm gonna move to this side so that I can kind of, you know, do it side to side. And I'm gonna show you something else. Okay. I was able to give it a good press, almost showing the ridge where the clip is gonna go. Okay. All right, now I gave it a good press. Let me get you closer so you can tell now that you're almost here to the ridge. Thing I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm just gonna put the clip so I can show the final process. But I'm going to probably just like remove these back, whatever. So before you put this, it's always good to clean these up and then just put a little bit of like RTV and just make it look nice. You don't have to put a lot. And the RTV, what's gonna do is vibration and everything else is not gonna be able to break this chain or push the clip outside of the chain, which should keep you safe. So now, final step, you're just going to push the clip. So you can do it like this. I try not to do it the way I'm doing it right now. Just maybe kind of cross like this, like you're positioning this a little bit like at an angle, so you have more surface and it doesn't go inside. So there you go. So now clip is done. So I should be able to see this move. I'm going to try to put it in neutral. All right. So that's neutral. It's nice and tight. So now I'm just gonna be adjusting or working with the adjuster so I can get the right tension on the chain. It's pretty tight right now, so I'm just gonna see if I can move it a little bit forward. Otherwise, I'm going to be dealing with that, so I can make sure that it's in the right place. I guess last thing is you want the clip portion that's close moving this way. So and then this one to the back, and these are pretty decent. They can stay there. But I can understand if you don't like them because I do like the riveted style better. So I'm just going to open this chain again, potentially go to the 14th tooth in the front so that I can get the right gearing that I want. But I just want to go through this process because I want to ride this bike in the next couple of days. So I wanted to have the bike ready. Let's remove the protective grease they put to clean this. To keep this from rusting, so we can get a feel for how this chain can look like. That's just gonna come off anyway. I'm just gonna kind of put my finger in here and make sure that it's clean. And then for the first couple 100 miles, you're gonna have to take a look at the chain and ensure that it's good, because the chain is gonna be stretching, and that's part of what's gonna happen. So that's why when you buy a new bike, they always ask you to, like, hey, come back for the 600 500 miles, because that's normally the interval where they want to take a look and see how bolts are keeping up with everything, kind of wearing out for the first time. And also they take a look at your chain to see if it needs adjustment, and depending on where you ride, depending on your weight, the suspension, and how the swing arm is flexing up and down, that's just gonna help. It's just gonna be affecting the way the chain is going to be getting broken in. So yeah, so now should be ready for actual lubrication. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of chain wax in it right now. I want to keep this sucker lubricated. So now I'm not gonna ride it right now, but now I know it's protected at the very least on the inside, and I'll keep it like that so it's gonna dry. Now it's looking awesome. You know what? It's actually looking just like mine. Look at the little sister there. Funny. Anyhow, all right. So now let's put the pipe can. Let's just put the muffler here and just take this bike for a spin. I've never been to this part of town. This is kind of what I was looking for. Just different place that I can take some pictures maybe. Look at that mountain.